Hello and welcome to the third Bennett Prize. This episode's being recorded on the evening of the awards. I'm going to have a quick chat with each of the 10 finalists, then Ayana Ross, who's the winner of the last Bennett Prize, and then the Bennetts themselves. Then I'll include a little bit of the awards ceremony and the announcement of the winner. Okay, so we're going to start off with Ruth Dealey. So, hello, Ruth. Congratulations.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's so unexpected and so exciting.
Unexpected that you are one of the finalists.
Yeah, because it's a figurative realism, and I think it's realistic, but I don't know if other people consider it more abstract, my work.
Yeah, well, it's kind of on the border, isn't it? It's kind of between the two. It depends on how much you squint, I suppose.
For me, it's totally real because it's exactly how I feel. So it feels like me. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
an absolute reality. Yeah. But
yeah.
anyhow.
So, what's your experience been like so far with the being part of the prize?
It's really unusual because in terms of dialoguing, I never think of myself as a woman painter at all. Like I've always, and I actually never think of myself as a woman. Um, I think of myself as an I, kind of, and I've never identified one way or the other. And it's the first time I've ever had to step forward and actually admit to myself in a way how my career, which is like I've been doing it for 55 years, has been affected by me being a woman. It really has been. And I wouldn't want to have a chip on my shoulder, but I'd be in a very different place if I was a man. And to meditate on all that is actually brought me, it's done a lot to educate me about bringing me up to reality. So the
Right.
realism probably came from their end, not mine.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay, I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, it kind of came in a different direction for you.
Yeah, than I expected.
Were you surprised when you got the call?
Totally. Like I'm so used to, I'm not good at the computer, so my husband gets it to his computer, and he's just used to erasing all my thousands of rejections because I tend to enter everything. I always tell my students, if you don't try, how are you ever gonna? And so I thought this was a sure rejection, and it was the Midwest, which I consider more conservative, which may be wrong, and then it was, you know, realism. I just thought, forget it. But and so he said, should I erase it because we don't even bother reading them anymore? And I said, oh, let me read what they said. And he said you were accepted. It blew my mind. So I called all my friends who didn't believe me either. They're like, Ruth, read it again.
Oh, brilliant. What'll it mean for you if you win?
Oh, it would, for one thing, there, like, it would empower me incredibly in terms of understanding that I should keep trying because I really want to say something and have a dialogue. I don't want to be in a monologue. And so the exposure from it would be, which already is a win-win situation, would be really meaningful to me. And the money, of course, just to be realistic, we used to call it Rhode Island School of Dishwashing, not Rhode Island School of Design. Economically, I keep telling my poor husband, we've been married 56 years. Next year, probably you can retire, but he hasn't. He's a social worker. He has to keep on plugging away. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's
But I,
lovely.
wa- but I did get a lot of dishwashing jobs, because we knew restaurateurs, they liked artists.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's lovely. And what do you think the whole Bennett Prize means for women artists?
Like I said, it brings reality to the picture where you really know what's going on. And in a way, it's like a lot like our political times where people say, oh, this is so distressing, this racism, these events. And it's actually an open window. It's always been there. And by opening that window, I really think maybe I'm too positive, but I really think to discuss it is to help solve it eventually. and 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 the discussion of gender and art could really open the window to change, you know. When you look
Yeah,
at the life of Elaine de Kooning compared to William de Kooning, you just can't believe what those women went through, you know.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, that's beautiful. Well, look, I wish you the best of luck. It's been
Oh,
lovely
thank
chatting
you.
with you. It's been
It
lovely
was
chatting with
lovely,
you.
yeah. And by the
You,
way, we love Ireland. We're just crazy about it, you know. Anyhow, thank you so much.
thank you. Let me go now. Next is Shiking Dang or Dang Shiking or Demo as she likes to be called.
Yeah, demo
Demo is
is easy.
yeah, Demo's already been on the podcast, episode 207 if you're looking for it. So congratulations, well done.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm so
Uh,
excited.
yeah, how were you surprised when you got the call, or how's your journey been?
I mean, yeah, it's a little surprised because like kind of competitive. I'm lucky. That's it.
You are competitive or you're not?
No, I mean the whole thing because they only select 10 people in total, so it's like you never know. I'm the
Yeah,
lucky one. Yeah.
yeah. So how did they contact you? Was it by email or did they call you?
I think I think Steve called me before that, before they finally announcing that. Yeah, he calling
Okay.
me and telling me the good news.
Oh, nice. So were you surprised?
I mean, a little bit, yeah, because I'll never think they're gonna call me to say it. I just, oh, is that like a random phone call?
Oh, brilliant. Um, so what'll it mean for you if you win?
I didn't think about that yet. I haven't think about that.
Oh, that's all right.
I don't know actually.
You
I
can think
mean,
about it now.
uh, I mean, if I win, yeah, it will be the best for me to keep like doing what I'm doing. But like when I like it's I mean no matter what they still like very supportive to every artist in the show. So it's like showing our work to the public is like very um supportive thing to do, you know,
Yeah.
especially for the woman.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Have you been up to look at the show already?
Oh, not yet. I just got here. I plan to look when I finish this.
Yeah. I've already seen it. It looks fantastic, and your
Oh,
work
you
looks
already?
great.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
yeah, they took some video to sort of let me see what it was like, and it looks brilliant. Everything looks really good, and your work looks very good. Your work is big for this show.
Yeah, I try to do like more ambitious stuff recent years.
Yeah, your diptych. I can never how to pronounce that word properly.
The
Diptych.
diptych.
Yeah, diptych. Thank you. Looks great. Yeah, some more. Very good.
Thanks.
What do you think the show or the prize means for women artists?
Um, because I feel like most of the time we think about woman artists are always like woman abstraction mostly. Like a lot of women being famous by like doing the abstract art.
Yeah.
And like very few women are like very good at like figurative art in the art history, right? And so I feel like that's like a very nice gesture for them to support women artists to doing figuration.
Yes.
And I feel like that's like because like especially at this certain time it's like not easy to keep doing figuration, because like a lot of other forms going on at the present time. If like it's not the easy way to do it. especially in the past, the old master already like set the bar really, really high, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so hard, You have like a lot of like comparisons for the very like great artwork. And if you do like something new, it's more easy because no one can compare that. It doesn't have the history of it. So when you do it, you're already the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like they are just like very nice to support people to doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck. Your work is lovely as always, and I was so pleased to see that you were in the finalists. So yeah, I wish you the best of luck tonight.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So this is next is Linda Infante Leon. Did I pronounce your surname right, or
It
get it even
sounds a
close?
little French, the Lyon. It's actually Infante Lions.
Infante Lions. Okay,
Yes,
beautiful.
yes.
So congratulations
Thank
on
you.
being part of the show. How has your journey been so far in the prize?
Oh, it's been wonderful. I think it was announced, last fall. So we had 6 or 7 months to really think about it and consider um, the whole process. The anticipation of being here has been amazing. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for this opportunity and for the ongoing support. I'm really amazed at how the Bennett Prize has elevated and promoted our work. I'm seeing it in magazines. It's been great.
Ah, lovely. So how did they let you know you won? Did they just email you or did they call you?
They called. They called, and I got a call. I didn't get the call, and it was from a number I didn't recognize, and I decided to call it back. And it was um, a really wonderful personal call. Um, and of course, I was really excited. Yeah, it was a call, and it was really nice to speak to them.
Oh, lovely. That's one of the really nice things about it, the way they call everybody to let them know. I think they're as excited as the people they're calling.
Yes, yes.
What'll it mean to you if you win?
Oh, it'll mean a lot. I have to say that already just being a finalist is a wonderful prize in itself. But if I do win, this is something that I can take, and it will allow me to work on a new body of work without the pressures of having to sell or take on commissions. Because I'm a full-time artist. My husband's an artist as well. And so we're always hustling, and
Yeah.
creating work, and it's just really nice. It would be nice to take the time to just kind of slow down and focus on the process, taking that time to create a new body of work, and basically take what I'm doing, but expand it out.
Yeah, lovely. With a new body of work, would it be similar to your work, or would you go in a new direction, do you think?
I think it would be similar, because what I'm doing right now, I'm still very interested in it. I would like to take, I work with Alaska Native women. I do portraits of Alaska Native women, and I'm really interested in Alaska Native youth culture. I've spent some time in some of the rural villages, really remote places, and I'm just really impressed with the energy and vitality of the young people there. And I would like to sort of explore more of more of a contemporary portraiture, and it relates to the iconography that I'm working with right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, because you really sort of weave the icon, the sort of visual, what's the word? Shorthand, visual shorthand for iconography into your work. So you would keep doing that.
I believe so. I think there's really something interesting about sort of melding two cultures, especially the indigenous with the Western beliefs. Yeah. And on my side, because I have a Alutiiq heritage, all the way back to my great grandmother who only spoke Alutiiq, Alaska Native language, and Russian. So there's this blending of two cultures, and Western Christian iconography is so part of our collective psyche that we immediately understand that this is something sacred. But the Alaska Native art, you can see often the masks have the same halo. They have a carved face and then an array, sort of a radial array around their heads that also represent something that is sacred and spiritual. And it's just a look at the universality of the symbols that we create and elevating the Native side of my ancestry, and at the same time incorporating those Western symbols.
Yeah, that's lovely. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. What do you think, because you were saying that your husband's an artist as well, this question might be even more prescient for you, I suppose. It's what do you think the Bennett Prize means for women's artists?
I think more than anything, it's just giving us a platform. It's very, very well known that most exhibits, the statistics already show that there are more solo shows in museums by men. The men's art sells for more money. And I think it's just a matter of exposure and sort of realigning sort of the dynamics of what we consider as high art or important art. And so that platforming, the exposure is really important. It'll take some time, but this is an effort on the the Bennett Prize to sort of right that imbalance.
Yeah, right. Yeah, lovely. Mm-hmm. Now, not to get too lowbrow here, but I've been kind of hooked on The Great North recently. You know that animated show about Alaska?
Animated? Or I'm not sure which one.
Oh, it's a cartoon. It's an adult cartoon, but it's set in Alaska, but I've just been watching it recently.
I have to say I have not heard of any animated. There are plenty of sort of reality TV shows of life in the North. People out, fishing for crab. What was that one called?
Deadliest Catch. Yeah, you used to watch that years ago. Yeah, years ago. Yeah,
that kind of thing. But no, I'm not familiar. Maybe they don't show it in Alaska.
Maybe, yeah. Well, it's very cute. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I wish you all the best. Your work is beautiful. I really enjoyed looking at it, and I really like where it's coming from. And as I say, this got a beautiful blend that you do. So yeah, I wish you all the best and this evening.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect.
Hello. Now, I'm talking to Sarah Lee Hughes. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, John. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I am long overdue for a cup of tea for you.
Great. Adoration and guilt. I love getting those two things together. So, congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is this last 6 months has been absolutely been nothing but just magical.
So you found out 6 months. That's when you were. How do they did they email you or they call you?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story. They called and they texted, We thought that something was wrong with my phone or internet, something about a bug. My husband was concerned. And so Monday, November 7th, the evening, a text came in and said, "This is Stephen Alan Bennett." I'm kind of nervous. And Dr. Elaine Melotti Schmidt with the Bennett Prize, and we are trying to get in touch with you. And I looked at it and I was like, and it had a 210, which is a San Antonio exchange. And I knew that everything from the Bennett came out of Michigan. So I was like, this is not right. Like, who? They wouldn't text me. Why would they? And I was like, this is a bad practical joke on one of my friends' parts, but who would do that to me? Because they knew how excited I was about the Bennett. And my husband had said, "Do you want me to text him back?" And I was like, "No." And I was a little, what I call the big pants. And I said, if this is really Stephen Allen Bennett and Dr. Elaine Melotti Schmidt, and they want my paintings, they'll call me back. And so I was just like, no, that's wrong. And so the next day in a meeting, got out of the meeting, needed to check my phone. There was 2 voice messages and another text. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that was them in the text. And I called them back and they'd said, "Wow, you're really hard to get hold of." And that was on November 8th, Election Day. So there you go.
Wow. Okay, that's brilliant. What'll it mean for you if you win?
Several different things. One, more consistency with my practice in terms of being a completely full-time artist. It will help me focus solely on my work and not kind of take a couple of jobs here and there. And the other thing is I will be able to reach some short-term goals, which will help me reach some long-term goals. And I'm very, very excited about that.
Lovely. Have you had a chance to look at the show yet?
No, I'm here with my husband and our daughter, and we've decided to come early around 4:30, 4:45, and to walk in together to see it. They are a huge part of practice, and that they are such a huge support to me that we all wanted to see it together. 2 of the works have never been hung, and so to see them all 3 together and hung, I'm super excited. And then I'm very excited to see all of the other artists' work that is hanging, because to be included with this really esteemed and incredible group of female artists is just an incredible honor for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's beautiful, and and it's not just this group; it's the previous groups as well. You're sort of in among them all.
Yes. So, for sure. The whole, yes, all of them.
Oh, that's lovely.
I'm just like John Dalton. This has been one of the long-term goals that I was able to reach just within this last 6 months as just being a finalist, which has been winning in and of itself. But one of the goals on my long-term list was, to be on the John Dalton Gently Does It podcast. So really, again, to meet you and to be here is very, very exciting.
Lovely. What do you think the Bennett Prize means for women artists?
Definitely recognition that is long overdue, and bringing to the forefront figurative realism. But I think the recognition and in they've raised the bar in terms of how women are exhibited or helping raise the bar. I think they are part of a larger workings to raise the bar in exhibiting women's work, women figurative realists to be specific. Also, the sale of women's work, the collection of women's work. Yes. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Boy, I had some coffee earlier, and I guess you can really tell now.
No, you're fine. Okay, well, look, best of luck this evening. I wish you all the best. Your work is beautiful. I have had a look at everyone's work, and I got a little walk around, little video walk around of the show. It looks great. Yours looks really good up as well. These big diptychs. I'm still having trouble saying that word. How do you say that word?
Diptychs.
Diptych. Okay, so it's a K sound. All right, okay. That. Yeah, you've got two in, really, haven't you?
Yeah, there are two diptychs and then one, just one solid piece. So
big one, yeah, the candy cane swing. Candy,
yes.
I don't know what the name. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, okay. Well, best of luck, and it's been lovely chatting with you.
It's been lovely. Thank you so much. And also thank you for your podcast, because it's been a huge inspiration, and it's really great for artists to be able to hear their, the artists that have are further up the ladder, and to hear that experience and to gain that knowledge. So I really thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks very much.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
You too. So this is Mayumi Nuko. Did I sort of get that? Nuko. Yeah. So congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How has your journey been in the prize?
Oh, one of my artist friends told me this Bennett Prize. And then, I decided to apply.
Yeah. And when you found out you were a finalist, did they email you or did they telephone you?
Oh, telephone. Yeah. So suddenly, they called me. And then, they said, you were selected in finalist. And I cannot believe it.
You couldn't believe it. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Were you surprised?
Very.
And what will it mean for you if you win?
Oh, if I win, I haven't. I haven't expected anything. Yeah, it's going to change. Yeah, definitely change my life, of course. It's a very big deal for my art future.
And what way do you think it'll change your life?
Sorry, definitely change. Got motivation and got confidence over more for my works.
Yeah.
Because actually I don't have any. I don't have not any, but I don't have. I just started painting 4 or 5 years ago, or seriously. So I didn't expect anything like this. So
Okay.
it's change more my mind for more professional and sorry, I cannot imagine.
Yeah, so it's a recognition. Lovely. Have you had a chance to look at the the show yet, to see the other paintings?
Sorry?
Have you had a chance to look at the other pictures yet?
Oh, I had. This morning.
What did you think?
First of all, I am so proud of myself, and I feel so honored to be including with the amazing artist. I'm still feeling kind of weird. My painting is there, so but it's very happy.
Yeah, your paintings are lovely. Yeah, and in the way you describe them, that you're the sort of, because you originally came from Japan into America, and your paintings are about this kind of borrowed nostalgia. I'm wondering if being part of this prize is like more of that. Now you're part of this community as well.
Oh, very special. It's but special for me because each artist is very, very amazing artist.
Yeah, lovely. And what do you think the Bennett Prize means for women artists?
It's very helpful for the women painter. Very big.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best of luck this evening. Your work is lovely, as I said. And I hope you have the best time there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we go. There you are.
Perfect.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
So I am talking to Monica Ikegwu. I hope I got that right.
Yes,
Did
perfect.
I? Okay,
You got it
good.
right.
So congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you so much.
How has your journey been in the prize so far?
I mean, when I first got the notification that I was part of the top 10, I was a little surprised. I was like, oh, shoot, out of the whole US and I'm part of the top 10. That was a little surprising, but, I'm thankful, grateful for that one as well. Since then, they've been like publicizing the show everywhere. And I was like, great press. But but it's been amazing. It's just like a validating experience to like let me know that like my artwork is like at the level where it can be like, awarded at such a high level.
Yeah, that's lovely. Did they email you or call you to let you know?
Okay, so it was so Art actually, like, he emailed me like asking about like my schooling. He was like, are you still a student or did you graduate? And I was like, I graduated. He was like, okay, cool. Well, you're a finalist. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, he emailed me asking about my schooling. And then he called me. He was like, yeah, you're a finalist. And I was like, wow, okay. But yeah, that was interesting. It was a little funny how that went.
What'll it mean for you if you win?
For me, if I win, in regards to like the $50,000, it would help a lot because right now, actually, like I work out of my parents' house, like in the studio area. So, and right now, I'm working towards like another solo show with another gallery right now. But that area is very cramped for the big scale that I'm working with right now. So there's barely any like move room. So I've been trying to look for like studio spaces, but I've been told that the rent for spaces are getting higher. So if I were to win, that would help to go towards like the space that I would need in order to like accommodate the bigger works that I want to do in the future.
Yeah. How did you get around being able to get back from your work if they're big in a small space? Are you using a lot of mirrors or how are you doing that?
I mean, I would say it's probably around like, if you can see this room, it's probably like this big. So like I can stand back like probably about like at most 6 feet from the painting.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not like, inch by inch, but it's okay. But it's just like the way I can't work on multiple paintings at the same time because I can't put them anywhere because it's just too tight. So I have to like lean them against each other and only work on one at a time. So it just kind of slows things down a little bit.
Yeah, right. Have you had a look at the show yet? Have you had a chance to?
Yeah, I was here I got here a little earlier before the little interview because I wanted to look around a little bit. So, but I looked at it, everything looks amazing. And it looks so much better than the pictures that I saw online. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I got a little, Art made me a little video walk around and yeah, it looks fantastic. Everything looks it's always just so shocking when you kind of go, oh, wow, that's so much bigger than I thought. Or wow, that's
exactly,
so much
the pictures, and I was
smaller.
like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And do you feel like when you see your work sitting in with everyone else's, how does that feel?
It's surreal. I don't know. Like seeing them on the walls is always different from seeing them in the studio. So like it just looks more professional, more high quality than how I would like see them in my own head, like how I'm used to them. So it's more casual, but then in a high space with everyone else's artwork, it looks more professional, looks more, more respectable in a gallery space with the white walls, and everyone's just it works all so well together. So I don't know, it's just part of a really good curation, and like none of them actually stand out, but they all like work together. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's strange when you're there, because you're like all the other paintings, they are finished, if you know what I mean. Like you're looking at the other artists' work, and it's like you weren't there for the beginning, you weren't there for the blank canvas, but your own work, you were there, so you kind of knew the struggles and whatever. So I imagine it's strange seeing it sitting in with the rest of them, kind of going, oh yeah, it was probably the same for them all.
Yeah. And some of them are really like hyper detailed. So seeing them in person, it's like, wow. And I don't know how some of them did it. Like looking at them, you question like, how did they actually come about it? But like they went through the same process of blank canvas, struggling to get the paint on the canvas, and then finished product as well.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to meet any of the other artists yet?
Yeah, when I came in yesterday, I met Ronna Harris, and then in the gallery, like right before this, like about 5 minutes ago, I met about 1, 2, 3. I met 3 of them, and then I think another one walked in, but I didn't get to talk to her as I was leaving.
Yeah, that's one of the lovely things about the Bennett Prize, is the kind of the interchange that goes on. You get to ask all those questions. How did you do that? And you can go over to the painting, and you can get right into it, and
I get to pick their brain.
Yeah, some really lovely friendships have come out of the finalists on the Bennett Prize.
That's great. Can't wait to meet them all.
What do you think the Bennett Prize means for women artists?
I mean, I know that primarily the art scene is mainly made up of is like male dominated. So to have a prize where it's only directed towards the woman just highlights them, and then gives them an opportunity to have a step forward in the art world and push them forward to reach the levels that men are typically have a stronghold in, but they can reach that level and get more press, more publicity for their work that puts them at a higher level than what society may see their work as.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, it's been lovely chatting with you. Congratulations again, and I wish you all the best this evening.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you too.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hello, John.
I'm talking to Ronna Harris. So congratulations, Ronna, on being a finalist.
Well, thank you very much for that. It is a great honor, isn't it?
How has your journey been in the prize?
In what sense? How far back are we going?
To the beginning. When did it all start? Yeah.
You mean applying or getting accepted or what?
Yeah, well, how did you hear about it?
A friend of mine in Houston called me on the phone and said, you need to apply to this. And I said, no, thank you. And then
why?
I said, no, thank you. I don't have any chance of winning. I'll just keep painting. Thanks. And then he called again. That was in October or November. Then he called again. I guess it was later on and closer to July, I guess. And said, you need to apply to this. Did you apply? And I said, no, I did not apply. And I said, I'll give it some thought this time. Then I hung up, and another friend called me within the same day from another location in New Orleans and said, are you applying to this? And I said, you're the second person that's called me on this. And they said, you need to apply for it. And I said, God, I really hate getting rejected. And she said, just apply for it. So I went ahead and called both of them and told them I applied.
Great. And then what happened?
Then I got a phone call saying I was a finalist. And I think I made them repeat it 2 or 3 times because I thought it might be a prank call.
This was Stephen and Elaine called you, was it?
I think it was the Bennetts.
Yeah. That's lovely.
Well,
And then
I think they were laughing at me at that point because I was like, really?
I know. Well, you're not the first. Like somebody earlier on was saying that they got a text from them, and they thought, "No, this couldn't be. This is spam. It's not real." So-
Yeah, yeah. I kind of respond that way a lot.
So how has it been with the amount of exposure that you've got, just as a result of being a finalist?
Well, being a finalist to me has been a really extremely rewarding experience emotionally. You know, what I found that other people have looked at my art and they like it. And that was very uplifting. Seeing it printed in magazines is takes me back. And I'm not sure of how it's going to affect me professionally, but emotionally, it's been a great experience. It's getting me out of my own little self-contained existence. I tend to paint every day and stay isolated a little bit when it comes to my art.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What'll it mean for you if you win?
It's funny. I'm already thinking of concepts of paintings. I already have approached models on it. I'm looking around through Muskegon and thinking I've got a whole idea of another series of paintings about the place and people. It's opening up avenues of thought. And I have just terminated my teaching career because I want to just spend all the time painting and not going into the classroom anymore.
Right. Okay. Have you had a chance to look at the show yet?
I have.
And what do you think?
I think that that the judges had a very diverse approach to viewing. Instead of having a one-person idea concept, they tend to have a more open approach to the human figure and not just a straight-on portraits or fantasy or documentary. It's or just self-contained individual self-portraits or friends. They're opening. It has different narratives.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
So what do you think the Bennett Prize means for women artists?
Well, I believe, it gives a statement that women can achieve painting to the level that, for centuries men have been dominating it. And I think, and I mean, there has been women, don't get me wrong. You have Alice Neal and, you could name different artists, Janet Fish and Alice Neal, and they've emerged as female painters, but it gives somebody, it gives a new recognition to someone. Yeah. And I think also not having, in the past, women artists have been coming basically from Yale. And this gives a different venue of maybe a way to start.
Right. Okay. Well, look, I wish you the best of luck. It's been lovely chatting with you.
Thank you.
And I wish you, good luck this evening.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And it's been such an honor being here and being part of the Bennett choice for the prize.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Oh, there I am.
Hi.
So John, we're skipping Haley for now, John.
Okay.
So is this going to get edited down or?
Yes.
Yes. It's nice to talk to you. What was I going to say? I follow your other page too, because I also meditate. But anyway.
Oh, okay, lovely. Let me just introduce you briefly. This is Kyla Zoe Rayfart. Rayfart. Okay. Did I get most of that right?
Yeah, it's Zoe. You got it. Kyla Zoe Rayford.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you. It's a
How?
huge honor.
Yeah, I can imagine. How has it been? Like, how's your journey in the prize been?
Great. I mean, it's just been really nice to be in the company of other great artists. And it was funny when I found out because I was just in my studio and I hadn't checked my phone and it was like 10 p.m. and I just had a text from Elaine and Stephen. So and I was like, what? So hugely validating experience and very motivating. So.
Ah, lovely. So they just texted you. They didn't call you.
Well, they texted and they wanted me to call back. And I thought maybe they had a question about my work, about whether it would qualify. I don't know. It didn't even occur to me that maybe I was a finalist. And then I was just very surprised, delightfully surprised.
So has Stephen been asking you loads of questions about your land and your, the animals and all that kind of thing? Because he's really into that kind of thing.
Oh, I didn't know he was into that. But yes, he was asking me about the farm. And I mean, it does make sense because it ties into my art as well. It's sort of a whole, for me, like a philosophy, and little bits of my life always creep into the art. So it's kind of a dueling passion.
Yeah. What, the patterns on your paintings,
Mm-hmm.
That's screen printing or not?
It's the patterns on the wall, and if there's a pattern on the floor, that's something they screen print. The dress pattern, like the background color, I paint. The floor, I paint everything, and then I also hand pattern the dresses.
Yeah.
And the painting. So all of the elements are hand painted except for the pattern on the wall, which I usually I screen print on at the end.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's quite an effect, the way it all goes together. It's like it reminds me of a beautiful sort of box of chocolates kind of vibe. I don't mean the cover of the box of chocolates. I don't mean that.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like a jewel box kind of, feel to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have a really conflicted relationship with perfectionism. And it's sort of like I get to hone all of my perfectionistic urges into this little space. But what I like about it is that it's so real that it's unreal. Like you sort of cross into this space where everything is so detailed and controlled that it's sort of like confining or cage-like, or it has a certain amount of stillness. And I like that. I guess what that kind of says about life, that, you get to something that's so realistic and detailed and controlled that it no longer, it's on paper realistic, but it's not life. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's a bit like the weird kind of thing that happens with really good still life, in that
Mm-hmm.
it's so still it comes to life, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. When I also kind of purposely ignore certain laws of, visual phenomena. I'm not going for a like hyper realism painting. Like there aren't shadows around the figures usually. There's they have a weird cutout kind of look. And I get a lot of people ask if they're collage, but they are all on one surface. There's no splicing or anything happening.
Yeah. And they're surprisingly small in person. They look big. Like when I saw them, I only saw everything on images initially, but then Art very kindly made me a video walk around and I could see them all. I was like, wow, they are so much smaller than I expected.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. I do want to make some bigger pieces. I always want the figure to be that scale. I think in a way they're kind of like, I think of them as little dolls, or, it's like a stage. I always have that sort of stage-like presentation, like frontal perspective. But I think in the future, I would like to do it where the figures are small, but the space gets bigger again. Sometimes they end up small, truth be told, because I start out, I feel very intimidated about starting a new piece. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to do just a little walnut ink painting just to get the juices flowing. And then I fall in love with the face and I just keep working and working. And then I'm just like, well, shit, I should have started on a larger piece of paper.
So were you surprised when you got the call, or when you were told you were
I
finalist?
was. I mean, it was just such an honor. I had, to all the artists out there, keep applying, because I didn't know about it with the first prize, but I did apply to the second and didn't get it. But you just keep putting yourself out there, and I was hoping, but I wasn't. I was certainly very delighted and surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well
It's
done.
always a
Good
bit
for-
of a what do they call that? Imposter syndrome. It just feels a little unreal, but it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. What'll it mean for you if you win?
It'll mean I have to get very busy. No, it would be really validating. I feel like it would be really motivating, and just I have a lot of people. I live in Columbus, Ohio, and there are a lot of local people that really support my art and have been buying it, but I'd really like for it to reach an even broader audience. So, and then just to have a museum show is huge, having it tour the country. It would just really kind of turbocharge everything. And it's a really strong motivator. As much as I'd like to say I don't care what other people think about my art, I do. I want people to see it. I want them to like it. So it would be very exciting and also a little terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you looked around at the show? Have you had a chance to see it?
Yes. Yeah. It's crazy because you see all this work on social media and you think you know it, but then you see a piece in real life, and it's, I think really, like you said, the sense of scale is something that's so often lost in the digital realm. Everything is fitting into its rectangle, which is why I try to post pictures sometimes of my work with my hand next to it, just so people have an idea of the scale. But even so, it's just not the same until you see the works in person. And a couple of the artists, I know, like Haley Hassler is somebody who ironically, like 15 years ago, before I even started making this work, I really liked her work, and I had reached out to her to say how much I liked her work and asking for artist advice. And then here we are, we're both finalists. So that's a little.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you met her?
Not yet. No, but I was thinking about what I wanted to say. And one of the things I was thinking about with the farming and the art is, and also I said about my mindfulness practice or whatever, is that a lot of my art process is I think of it as like slow art and slow living. So everything I'm doing, I'm slowing down as much as possible. And that's kind of the way the art is too. And when I'm homesteading, I'm kind of getting to the slowest, most real part of living, and just kind of breaking things down into the minutia of how they're created, both in life, like eating, and in making art.
Yeah, that's lovely. What do you think the Bennett Prize means for women artists?
I think it's huge. I mean, I feel like I remember them saying when they're talking to me that this is also to really give women and artists to keep working. I feel like, it's in the numbers that women are so underrepresented, and I'm really grateful to be in a time now where people are giving it more attention. But then also, I'm a mom, I have 2 little kids, and, they're saying we want to give people this big hunk of money so they feel like, okay, yeah, I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep doing this. This has payback because, for me, I became a mom, I have all these other priorities, and it's really easy to let your career start slipping. You just have so many competing needs, and it's just really inspiring that they're really trying to make an effort to bring these voices and perspectives to a broader audience, and also to raise the value of paintings by women. So I think it's huge, and it's extremely needed for sure. So
Lovely. All right, well, I wish you all the best this evening. It's been lovely chatting with you. And
lovely chatting to you too. And thanks so much. Nice
You're
meeting
welcome. You too.
you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, God, I'm really enjoying this podcast. I've listened to a few now and they're brilliant. And there's so many of them. And I've learned so much from listening to them. And you know what? If I met that John Dalton fella in real life, I'd love to buy him a cup of tea and have a chat with him. I'd love to do that every month if I could. Well, now you can. The tea part at least, because this podcast runs on cups of tea bought for me by people like you who listen to the podcast and send me the price of a cup of tea once a month through the Patreon account. That's patreon.com/John Dalton Gently Does It. All one word. And if you're one of those people who already send me cups of tea through Patreon, thanks a million. The tea is lovely and I really appreciate it. Now, the great thing is that if you can't afford to send me the price of a cup of tea or you don't want to, that's fine. You still get exactly the same podcast for free. It's sort of an honor system where the people who can afford it and want to pay for the people who can't or don't want to. So it's all lovely. So if you'd like to send me a cup of tea once a month, you can do that through Patreon. I'd really appreciate it. It makes a huge difference to me. Hi, Laura.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So just let me introduce you. This is I'm talking to Laura Karotsky. So congratulations on being a finalist.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such an exciting thing. It's such a just a great honor. Yeah.
How has your journey been? Like, where did you first hear about the Bennett Prize?
Oh, that's so interesting. I think I saw it, sort of things go past you on media. I don't know if it was on social media or in an email or something. And I guess that was, what was the iteration? Maybe the second iteration. And it just sort of hit a chord in the back of my brain, but I don't think at that moment I thought, oh, that's for me. I should apply to that. I think I didn't know exactly what it was, but I have a fairly new relationship with a new gallery, and they said to me, this would be a great thing for you to apply to. You're really the right kind of, market for that. So it was their encouragement that made me check back in the back of my brain and say, oh, what was that thing? And yeah, that's great. So that's the way that happened.
So did you mean that you applied to the second one, or you just heard about it from the second one and then applied to the third one, this one?
I think it was, I applied to this one only, but I think it's when they mentioned to me that I might apply to it that I recounted that I had seen it pass me, that it wasn't just foreign, that it wasn't that I actually sort of noticed it in the back of those little inkling things that go by, and they didn't quite resonate yet.
Okay, so you applied, and then did they text you or email you or call you to let you know that you're a finalist?
Oh, that was so sweet. I got a phone call. And in fact, I get so many spam phone calls that I usually don't pick them up if I don't recognize them. I wait if there's a voicemail. And I think I hadn't even heard the voicemail yet. But then, and that was from Dr. Elaine Schmidt. And then it was Stephen who sent me a text, and it was late at night in New York. It was, 9:30 or something. And he said, would you be able to give us a call back? And I said, sure. When would you like to do that? And I thought we would schedule something in the week. I didn't know that it was about this. I thought they had a question about my application. And he said, how about now? And I said, sure, now. Yeah, sure, now. Yeah, and that was just lovely. That was such a nice
nice way to do it, and such a great surprise, and so human, which has
Yeah.
been a really wonderful part about this, how really human they are, and the idea of the relationship between us all is really an important part of it. Is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said, did you say you were surprised when you were told you were going to be a finalist?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Surprised and touched and shocked and all of that wonder and excited. Sir, yeah, so excited.
And how is the exposure that you've received so far just because you've been part of the prize?
Oh, it's been wonderful. Different things get different responses, but there's a little video thing that they did meeting the artist that they posted on social media. And that was really something that just got so much play for me. People saw that, people liked it, they shared it. That was just wonderful. And it's just a great honor. People have responded really well to all of the PR they've done for it. That's been just a delight, the way they've put such an effort behind all of us. Whoever gets the prize, whoever gets the runner-up prize, we're all winning here with how much care and how much effort they put to promoting us all. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, lovely. What will it mean to you if you win?
So much. It's been it's a really exciting moment because figuration has been, being a figurative artist and being a female figurative artist has been really swimming upstream for a long time. And there haven't been a lot of peers that I found doing this. It's started to emerge, and I really think in the last 5 or 6 years it started to blossom, and so that feels great. But to have this moment where we're being recognized as female figurative artists, that there's a platform for this now, that it resonates, that it's a moment now where I think the audience is saying story matters. Oh, human experience matters. Oh, we're in such a technological age, perhaps that's why the human hand matters. These things have now come around, and I felt that they would always. When I started painting in college, they really only taught abstraction, and to make figurative work was definitely frowned upon, and I had to really take a lot of risks to go out there and continue to be a figurative painter, to be a narrative painter. I ended up spending a year in Italy studying, in Florence, studying the Renaissance masters, and I ended up finding a graduate school. It was the only place in the country at the time, the New York Academy, which I know that you interview a lot of people from there, but it was the only place I could find to study to study the figure, to study anatomy, and to learn that kind of stuff. And so for it to have a moment now where we're being recognized, and where there's an exhibition around this, and where they're going to, establish a wing here to show women figurative realists. It's wonderful. I've been waiting for that for a long time. I've been waiting for this kind of moment since I first picked up a pencil.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
What do you think that you've kind of touched on it, but just what do you think the Bennett Prize means for women artists just generally?
I mean, the way I can answer this question is that when I was in college, I definitely understood what a deficit it was to be a female painter, and that it was really important for me to, at that time when I was in college, to make marks that didn't have, nobody could recognize they were made by a female hand. I wanted to make marks that were confident and were bold and were all of those things that felt commanding and worthy of respect. And I have that in my hand for sure, but I also have delicacy and detail, and I'm just talking about a physicality of the way I work. I didn't want the physicality to ever betray that I was female when I was a young starting out artist. It was through working and through finding my voice and understanding that my only honest and true voice is the voice of who I am. And my subject matter was the same, that at first I didn't want to betray who I was, or betray is not the right word, but reveal who I was through my subject matter, because I wouldn't be taken seriously if I was a female artist or if I was making work about domestic issues or those issues that concerned me. And I did learn early on that that was my true voice. That was my true calling. That was what my strongest voice was. That was what my strongest imagery was going to be. And so I continued to do that without much of an audience and without much of a peer group. So what it means for female artists now is so fantastic. I've been waiting to find these friends. I've been waiting to have these conversations. So does that answer it? Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah. Have you met many of the other artists yet?
Just now, just 5 minutes ago, I met them upstairs, and it really feels, and I guess that answers that hones back to your first question, which is, the way they've been promoting it. They've done such wonderful things promoting it that I feel like I know all of them. I know more than just their work from looking at, slides or imagery or on Instagram. I know more about them. I know more about their lives and, things like that. So we're all meeting each other and hugging like we know each other. It's very nice. It's very, very
lovely.
It's wonderful to find this peer group. And I guess that's answering all of your questions, but it's great to have a peer group like that, where we're considering similar things. We're talking about similar things. We're understanding materials in similar ways. We're breaking the rules in similar ways. We've been swimming upstream in similar ways for a long time. So that feels good.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, well, I wish you the best this evening. Best of luck, and it's been lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. You too. I look forward to listening to your podcast. I know that you have interviewed a bunch of people who I have studied with, worked with, gone to school with, admire. So.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a little bit that I recorded after the night because Haley Hassler wasn't able to make it to my little chats with everybody beforehand. So I've managed to catch up with her in Central Park in New York. So, hi, Haley. How are you?
Hello. Good. Thank you. Thank you.
It looks like a lovely day in New York.
Beautiful here. We had rain a couple days ago, and now it feels like spring.
Okay. You're not from New York, though. You're from Colorado, aren't you?
Right.
Or you live there?
I live in Colorado, and I'm from Colorado.
Oh, you're from there as well. Oh, okay, lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just taking advantage of the being out and about to drop into New York and see the sights as well.
Well, actually, I have an opening on Wednesday night in Pelham, New York. I won a prize for a painting competition to have a solo show at the Pelham Arts Center in Pelham, New York, which is about a 20-minute train ride from New York City. I've been told. I haven't gotten up there yet. Actually, the opening was supposed to be last week on the same night as the Bennett Prize opening, but they changed it to next Wednesday in 2 days to accommodate that. So I had to do this back-to-back trip, which works pretty well because I was coming from Colorado, zipped over to Michigan, and then I have a few days to kill in New York City before I make it to my opening on Wednesday night. So I'm here seeing as much art as I can.
Wow. These are all definitely high quality problems.
Right.
Oh no, I have to go to 2 openings.
Right.
So congratulations on being a finalist. Well done.
You. Thank you very much.
What was the journey like from when you first, when did you first hear about the Bennett Prize, and how did the application process go?
Well, about 10 years ago, I was in a show in Jacksonville, Florida, that was organized by Richard D'Amato. He was representing me at the time, and he got me into a show in Jacksonville, and that's where I met Steve and Elaine Bennett, and they purchased a painting, one of my paintings from that show in Jacksonville. And
did you say that was 10 years ago?
I think it was about, let's see if it was about 10, maybe not, well, it's 8, 9.
Yeah.
Somewhere
okay.
between 8 and 10 years ago. This at the Jacksonville, the MOA Jacksonville, Museum of Contemporary Art in Jacksonville, that Richard D'Amato had organized for several artists. Well, no, the Jacksonville Museum had organized it, but D'Amato was quite a part of it. So several of his artists were represented. And I remember that Steve and Elaine bought one of my paintings, and I sat across from them at a dinner that night, and we had a lovely conversation. And that was before they had started this big project of the Bennett Prize. And but I remember, and I think they were recently married at the time, and we just had a lovely conversation. And since then, I was pretty aware that Steve would be very open to being a kind of an advocate for me, and was very invested in helping the artists that he was interested in, or just women artists in general. But he would definitely be an advocate. And so I would say, well, then I had just a personal story. I found myself pregnant with my third child, and I'm not very young. It was a surprise. So that took me kind of out of, I kind of dropped off the face of the earth for a little while there. Right after that, I had my third child in my 40s. And so I went back to Colorado and kind of dealt with that. And then a few years later, just feeling like my career had stalled, and it really had to do with being home with another baby, I reached out to Stephen, and right away he said, let's just have a phone call. And we had a 1-hour Zoom in which he just listened, and he said, why don't you apply for the Bennett Prize? He said, apply for the Bennett Prize. So this was about a year ago. So I did apply for it that following year. And I do remember thinking, I know he wants to support me, but I just felt like that was a long shot. And I remember when he called me up to say that I was a finalist, I mean, that made my day like nothing has in a very long time. I was at a point, I've never been at such a point of feeling like, does anybody care that I'm a painter? And it'd been COVID, and for me, COVID and the baby, and being at my age and being in Colorado, the combination of that, I just felt like I was questioning everything. And to get some positive feedback about my work at that time. And I will say that at the exact same, that same week, I heard from the Rooch Award in Pelham. And so it is amazing how much getting a little bit of positive feedback, or a lot in this case, of positive feedback, can just boost your confidence to where you feel you can artists probably learn how to function with a lot of criticism and no feedback. And I mean, I've got a thick skin. I've learned that. We all have. And so we can keep going a long time with that. But at some point you need a little something. And this was I've been working on the steam of this for some months now. So
that's lovely.
It's been huge. It's been huge.
So Stephen called you. That's nice. I've been hearing, the different stories about how people were contacted, everything from text to, it's hilarious the number of people who thought they were spam texts or they wouldn't answer the phone because they didn't recognize the phone number.
Yeah. Right.
Now, as I said at the beginning of this little chat, we are after the announcement. So a question I asked everybody else was what it would mean to them if they won. Now, I was asking them before the announcement, so it was, everything was up for grabs. So I want to ask you about that, but I don't want you to say whether you won or you didn't win, or who won or whatever, but more like what it would have meant, or what it would mean for you to because it's the 50 grand, it's the solo show, it's the whole kind of thing, because there's a combination of, there's a certain amount of promotion goes into the 10 finalists across the board, and then there's that extra kind of layer for the winner and the second prize as well. So when you were thinking about it, what sort of things were you entertaining for yourself if you won?
Yes. Well, it is very true that money means a lot in terms of, I mean, again, I think as artists, we learn how to keep going. If this is the calling that I assume it is for everybody who's still doing it, because we're usually not doing it for the money. And yet you need, when you're paid for your work, the world sees it as legit. And you somehow have to figure that out as an artist. Is that the only way that I can feel that my work is legit, is if I am paid for it? No, you've got other measures that you have to come up with. But in the end, if you do make money with your work, if somebody's actually paying you to do this, you can say, I am an artist, with full authority. And otherwise, it goes back to that confidence piece. I mean, I think a lot of us, and maybe perhaps mostly as women artists, I heard a lot of my colleagues saying this, something about having the confidence and almost the right to do this, which feels elusive sometimes. I've gotten it from my family. I mean, they're like, are you really going to be able to? I've been a single parent for a while here too. And at this time, being able to make money from my work would make it so that I don't have to try and do something else. It's been even more urgent that I somehow show that this work is legitimate, that I can support my family and myself. So that part would be huge. And yet, I think the publicity that comes from just being a finalist has already led to some other means of financial reward. So I think, I got the sense of that immediately, that being a finalist, they wanted to promote all 10 of us. And I've felt that already. So it is true also, though, that having a solo show, and I also know this because I have this solo show that's opening on Wednesday. Solo show. Well, I'll just also say that when I walked into the museum in Michigan, in Muskegon, and walked right in, and my paintings actually were in the first room, so they kind of caught me off guard. Seeing your work in a museum, seeing your work in a gallery or a museum, it's so valuable as an artist, because it's pretty much the only time you can see it freshly. You can see it, you can actually judge it, and it's almost like someone else made it. But it also is being seen at its best, because it's displayed well. And I have found it's rare. I make all these paintings, I stack them against the wall. I've got 10 of them going at once. They're all cluttered up in my studio. I move them around. I drag them outside to look at them in the sunshine. I take pictures. I'm always trying to see them objectively, and it's difficult. But I turned the corner in that Muskegon Museum, and there were my paintings. I didn't even expect to see them because they were the first ones in there. So I wasn't even prepared. And I got that first look at them as though they were someone else's for just a moment. And that was very enlightening. I could see them freshly. So back to the idea, just back to the fact of exhibiting one's work and having a solo show of all your work, letting it speak to each piece speaks to the other, and yet they all have space between them. And then watching other people look at your work, getting feedback. Basically, we do our work to show we want an audience. I mean, we're not really doing it just to have a conversation with ourselves. So
Yeah.
So the financial part makes you feel like you are a contributing member of society, but so does the exhibition, where the public, the viewers, respond to your work, and you feel like you are contributing to society by having a conversation with the world. So that's what I'd say about
lovely.
that.
Lovely. So you're in the unique position that, like compared to the others, in that you've been through it, you've been through the final, and you can talk about the afterwards, what happens after the announcement, the dinner, the camaraderie, the late night drinking, if that was the case. I don't know. It's been I was there at the first one, so maybe it's different.
No,
so
you got it right.
so
yeah,
how was that for you?
That was also, yes, like we have, in fact, here I am in New York City, and I've been texting throughout the day with one of the other finalists. She's got a studio in Brooklyn, and I'm going to meet up with her later. And also because I have this show in Pelham, a couple people have indicated they're going to come up. But we made a group text amongst 4 or 5 of us. We did all go out that evening, and we went to every place you could possibly go in Muskegon, I think, one after the other, until everything was closed. And then they said, well, there's one around the corner just down. And so we did do that. Yes. I wouldn't say it. About half of us did that, I think. And I will say that probably 3 or 4 women that I spoke with, I felt like, wow, we could keep talking all day. And we have a lot in common and a lot to share. And a couple of them I was in touch with before, but I'd never met. But we had already overlapped a little bit and had reached out to each other, and it was very exciting to meet in person and find that I do feel, I said this to everyone, I said one of the greatest things from this experience is meeting the other artists and the connection, and hopefully we'll hold on to this. I feel pretty confident that we will. I mean, I'm pretty dedicated to keeping up these contacts that I've made, just because I really, really liked several of these women. And I think we have a lot in common, and we can also help each other. And in my experience, this is how a lot of things happen going forward, is we help each other and we respect and admire each other. And we want, and a lot of us live in, like I live in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is, I need to stay connected with people who are, and there's someone in Indiana and Ohio, and I think we'll stay connected partly because we can have this community through Zoom and periodic travel. But I think that's one of the greatest benefits that came out of this, is the connections I made with the other artists.
Yeah. That's lovely. Mm-hmm. So what do you think the Bennett Prize means for women artists?
Well, there's this, I've got to think of her name. There's a woman who just wrote a book called The History of Art Without Men.
Oh,
Did you see, she just wrote that book, and I heard her I think she was on Fresh Air on NPR. And it was just the week before I left for the Bennett Prize show. And I thought, wow, so this is a thing that's kind of going on right now. There is a lot of interest, and her book apparently has, she was actually in New York City, I think, last night, and I thought, oh shoot, I should have tried to find. I sent her a message just to say, I mean, she's talking about, it's kind of our job to talk about women artists and shows that we are having, and share it with their friends, and just talk about it. And it seems that there are a lot of people who are very interested in this right now. And and Prize itself, I think, more and more people have been submitting, and it's getting more and more interest. And yeah, it does. This could be a big turning point for women in the arts. I'm hoping that it is, but we have to keep on top of it. We have to keep talking about it and helping each other and not seeing each other as adversaries or competition.
Yeah.
But I think it is true. It is true that, my definition of an artist really is still doing it. And I think women face more obstacles to the still doing it, perhaps, than men might. I mean, certainly there have been obstacles placed in their path historically, and I have found personally that with family and children and a lot of other reasons, there are more obstacles in a calling that is already very difficult to pursue unless you have to do this.
Yeah.
So the fact that there are people trying to remove a few of those obstacles, which the Bennetts are clearly dedicated to doing, it means a lot. It means a lot.
Yeah. Lovely. If you're listening, the name of that book is The Story of Art Without Men by Katie Hessel. Hessel. And that's Katy. So,
right.
Congratulations again. It's been lovely chatting with you. And
thank you.
I was wishing everybody, best of luck, but no point. I can't say that, but yeah, congratulations on being a finalist. And
thank you very much.
We'll see. Okay, so back to the night and and Ayana Ross.
Hi, John.
Hi. Excuse me.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am well.
That's good. Let me quickly introduce you. I'm talking to Ayana Ross, the winner of the last Bennett Prize. So can you believe that it's 2 years already?
I cannot. It is, I'm driving into Muskegon today and I'm looking around. It's like, I was just here literally. It felt like yesterday. But yeah, the time has flown by.
Yeah, it felt like 6 months.
It
7
really did.
At the most.
Max. 7 max. So, yeah, it's been an incredible journey.
Yeah, well, I've had a look at your show. Congratulations! I've seen the stills, and then Art made me a nice video of the little walk around of it. So it's fantastic. Well done. What was it like? Was 2 years enough? Did you feel like under pressure the whole time, or was it a lovely, leisurely kind of experience?
I don't know that 2, 5, 7, 10 years would ever be enough, because regardless, with each piece, you feel like you learn something that you want to apply to the next one, and so on and so forth. So it's always this, opportunity to grow and learn and expand and further challenge yourself. My goal from the beginning was to do my best and to create a body of work that I could look back on and think that, I reached as far as I could at that moment. Of course, in hindsight, there'll always be things that you can kind of nitpick about, but in the moment for each piece, I know that I did my all. I'm eager. Once it was done, it was kind of bittersweet when I had the piece that I knew was going to be the last piece. It's like, okay, but I still have these ideas and I think more would fit. But, time ran out, and but there are more opportunities ahead, and so there'll be spaces and places for those ideas to live and breathe. But I did a lot of work over the 2 years. And I think that the pieces that wound up being a part of the show that were a part of the overall final message that I wanted to put together were among my best works to date. So I'm proud.
Good. Did you end up getting the studio outside your house?
I did. So I have two studios. I have the one in home because, you know, I'm a mother and life. And then the other is a little bit more centrally located. I use it from time to time as an actual studio, but oftentimes it's used more like a showroom of sorts.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's a lot of transporting. I think I need to get some sort of promotional agreement with U-Haul because I rent their vans quite often.
So
keep moving artwork. So
what was it like then to come into the museum and see the show up? Is that the first time you've seen it up?
You know what? I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's very good. I have.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. So, you know, that makes me feel great. Yeah, so I'm excited to see it. Of course, I've seen the pieces, obviously, but I saw them together for a very short period of time just before they were shipped out because it was a lot of rotating between framing and things like that. So yeah, I'm very excited to go upstairs and see the work.
Yeah. Well, you should because it's lovely. It looks great. You know, the room is really good, and the way they've done it is brilliant. Art and his team have done a great job. It feels like your work has developed. I don't mean so much technically, but just in what you're painting about and the sort of atmosphere that you're creating in the paintings. Am I on the right track with that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that one of the biggest areas that I think the work is developed and I've developed is in the layering of content and creating these overlapping narratives so that each element of the artwork has meaning, significance, and ties into the overall, you know, purpose of the piece. And I think that's the biggest area of development that I know of. And I see in it.
Yeah. Has the process of putting the solo show together, has that changed you, would you say, as an artist? And if it has, in what way?
Yes, it has. I'm trying to think. Let me put the words together of how it has. I think that it has really helped me to think more about overall messaging and grouping and looking at, I do a lot of storytelling in individual pieces, but connecting those pieces and bridging, you know, like, okay, say one painting is a sentence, putting it together to build a paragraph and then ultimately a story. So that's an area of growth. And it's one of those things that you know, you don't quite know how to do it or refine it until you've gotten into the practice of doing it, I think. So,
Yeah, lovely. Have you kept in touch with any of the artists from your iteration of the prize?
Oh, yes. And I probably most frequently, some of us talk on the phone a little bit more than others. Some of us run into each other at various events, but we definitely exchanged information. And so it's wonderful to have those points of contact to pick up the phone and say, hi, Tim Maya, I got a question for you, you know, or, you know, Susu, or Chloe. So it's been great. I think that, and I think I said this even a couple of years ago, just being a part of that cohort is incredible because, you know, it's not as common to have women artists that work at a particular level that you can easily reach out to and, you know, connect with and learn from. And that's probably include those relationships, but a host of other relationships that I've developed throughout the 2 years has been one of the most rewarding aspects of the prize. I'm definitely a people first kind of person, so I cherish that, and I hold that dear. So yes.
Oh, lovely. Well, that very nicely segues into what I was going to ask you next, which is unexpected opportunities that have come up since you won.
So I have things that are on the horizon, but I think, again, talking about relationships, the most unexpected opportunities are, one relationship or meeting this one person ties into them connecting you with another person, and and then they'll chime in when they know of an opportunity that suits you, and just building those relationships, because that really is the root of it all, people kind of helping, really. And I've been very fortunate in that way, helping to push you forward, and so that you have the opportunity to have your work in the places and spaces where they need to be. So
yeah, that's lovely. So when you think back to before you applied, if you can, what are the big things that stand out that are different to what you thought it was going to be like and what it actually turned out to be like?
I think I had a very limited view of what my art career would be like. And I know that winning the Bennett Prize opened my mind up to so many more things that are possible. And not just open my mind, but actually open, opportunities up to many more things that are possible. So now I have a much bigger vision for myself and where I'm going in my art career.
Wow, that's brilliant. I can hear Amanda in the background going, "Oh, that's going to be a quote." Yeah, brilliant.
Definitely use that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been lovely to see you again, and congratulations again. And it's nice to be there. It's nice that you're there to be able to kind of pass on to the next group and to connect into another cohort.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
You haven't seen the show yet. You haven't had a chance to go in upstairs.
I have not. I literally just walked the door.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it's been lovely chatting to you again.
Likewise.
And yeah.
Okay. Talk soon, John.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There you are. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Good. How's everything going?
It's good. I've been hearing confession in this little room for the last hour and a half.
And has it been as titillating as one might hope? No, maybe not, huh?
No. Okay, just let me introduce you. I'm talking to Stephen Bennett and Elaine Melotti Schmidt, founders of the Bennett Prize. So congratulations on another iteration.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I've seen the show. I've had Art very kindly made me a nice little video walkthrough, and it looks fantastic. Another collection of fantastic artists and paintings. So yeah, well done.
Thank you. We're very gratified by the whole business. I think it's every show is the best show yet, but this is the best show yet.
Yeah, well, that's the way it should be, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It is that way. It should be that way. And it is. This is true. It is. It's really working great.
You don't want to get to it and go, oh, last year was better, or 2 years ago was better.
No one's going to say that. No. But great work up there. Great.
Well, it's a good reminder of how much talent is out there. And how it comes together differently in every show.
Yeah, this has brought a mix of, we've always taken the view that realism and figurative realism is a broad tent. But what's interesting to us is this covers the gamut from hard classical realism to very impressionistic work and everything in between. It's really very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. How many entries did you get this time?
Just shy of 1,000. The exact number escapes me, but in the 900 range, probably. So it keeps going up and up. And the level of work is increasing, because the prize has finally gotten, I think, sufficient critical mass that most figurative realist painters now know it exists. One thing I think is very interesting is some of these people have applied. This group of finalists contains a subset of people who have sought the prize previously. So it's gratifying to see people give it another shot because, as we have said time and again, any given jury could like work that another jury doesn't really resonate with,
Yes. Yeah. I was saying to somebody earlier on that I could see I won't say influence, but like Zoe and Julie, I could see, I don't know what I mean, but I could kind of go, oh yeah, I could see how they would like this work. Or I could see how they would go for these different kind of works,
Well, I can't give you an insider's view. I don't want to breach the confessional of the jury, but I would say that in working with the artists, I never cease to be amazed at things they are attracted to, which frequently differs from the work that they would do themselves.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I've come across that in talking to artists. You ask them who they like, and it's often very different to the way they paint themselves. Almost the complete opposite. How was the judging process?
It was lengthy. Suddenly, when you're looking at almost 1,000 entries, you find yourself in a position where you have to go through a lot of winnowing. And then the problem always exists in the final 2 rounds of judging. Once you get it down to about 50, you slow down, and it becomes a much tougher negotiation as time goes on. So the neck of the funnel gets very narrow, and when you get real narrow, the discussions get real intense. Right? Real intense.
So did you go ahead with a second prize this time or not? I know we talked about it, but I don't know if it actually happened this time.
It did actually happen. It's an achievement award, and it's for $10,000, and it's for the second choice, essentially. And so we're excited about that. And I think it made it easier for the jurors, because if you end up with a divided group of 2 and 2, at least this way that the person you favor will be acknowledged and recognized. And as you know, we try to promote the careers of all 10 finalists, not just the winner. So hopefully everybody benefits. Another thing we've added is the option for mentoring by someone who mentors artists for all 10 finalists. There's group sessions, and then for the winner, she'll have the option of like 3 weeks of mentoring to kind of develop a plan of what she's going to do with the money, and as well as how she wants to take her career. So we're trying to make it like seed money for your career, a developmental prize.
So that is more kind of business mentorship rather than artistic mentorship, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. And I must say, my wife is a model of modesty. She says, well, we're going to have an achievement award, but actually we're having the Dr. Elaine Melotti Schmidt Award for Achievement in Figurative Realism is what this prize is going to be called, and it'll be a $10,000 award to one of the 10 finalists other than the winner.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And they've started work on your wing, I hear, of the gallery or the museum.
Well, they are racing ahead. The can-do attitude of people in Michigan is everywhere in evidence here. They're ready to go, go, go. And so we're going to double the size of this museum come hell or high water, and we're going to do it within the next, I think they would take the view less than 2 years. They would take the view 18 months, but sometime between now and the 1st of January 2025, I think the intention is to open the Bennett Schmidt Pavilion, which is what the new wing will be called, and we will have a space that will be contained therein dedicated to women artists. And we don't care what kind of women artists. They don't have to be painters or figurative realists, just women artists, and we'll let the museum work through all those other details.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So for the next iteration, you should be in the new wing.
With every expectation, the Bennett Prize will open with the new wing at hand sometime in 2025. I think the current plan is to take occupancy of the new wing in the latter quarter of 2024 and to open to the public in the first quarter of 2025. And as near as I can tell, everybody says gung-ho and full speed ahead for all of that.
And one of the first exhibitions in the new pavilion will be pieces from our private collection that we're going to loan to them, kind of the inaugural exhibition.
Yeah.
So we haven't negotiated which paintings are going yet, but we know that will be fun.
And when you say negotiate, you're talking about between each other, yeah?
Between each other.
Well, this is gonna get more complex. It's a three-way negotiation with you and me on the one hand, and then the museum on the other. Of course, we have committed to send round numbers, 20 paintings, 20 of the significant paintings to the Muskegon Museum when the new wing opens. So, for example, the Artemisia Gentileschi self-portrait will come to the museum as soon as the new wing opens. We're gonna catch a cold from sleeping on wet pillows when we say goodbye to Artemisia's self-portrait as Cleo, but we think it needs to be in the public, in a place where the public can cherish it as much as we have. So that one will go early. There's a couple of other very important paintings that are on that list. So we've committed to send them, and we're anxious to see the reaction of the public more broadly to what we've collected, for sure.
Lovely. So what, because you're involved in the Bennett Prize, all the time, not just for this kind of night of nights, as they say. Could you, or do you have a sense of the impact that the Bennett Prize is making on women figurative artists?
A pebble in a lake, right? I think it's making an impact. It's a start. I think for the finalist, it dramatically changes their careers because for 2 years, as I said earlier, we actively promote all 10 of them. And yeah. Amanda, who's here, she's in charge of our PR team, and they do a fabulous job between social media and print, getting the word out about these women. And we think it's Arabic, shwai shwai, slowly, but we think it's made an impact and it's spreading. I would think is what I would say.
Yeah, I share your sentiment. I think it's fair to say that it is reaching critical mass. You don't have to, we no longer have to explain what it is any longer. I think the community of artists now knows it is getting enough traveling time for the show that people around the country are getting the drift of it more. Your question was what kind of impact is it having? I think women as a general matter are still grandly disadvantaged by big art. And that is only slowly starting to change. The prices are improving, but they're not at parity. The shows are more numerous, but they're not at parity, and so forth. But with respect to the finalists of this prize, we have been taking a much more quantitative approach to tracking what is being done for them. And you talk about group shows, solo shows, works sold, publications that cover the finalists. And in every one of those metrics, we are seeing a trajectory upward that is statistically significant and really gratifying to see that the women that are now participating as finalists are getting recognition that wasn't had before. And by way of example, we're going to open this show with virtually almost, with maybe one or two exceptions, all of the works by the prior winner, Ayana Ross. Her solo show is sold out. So, that's a goal that we had, and it is being achieved in a way that can only be described as very gratifying. And truthfully, we've got a number of works on the wall now that some of them were selling as the works were in transit to come to the museum. So once the word's out, you're a finalist, suddenly the prospects for those artists and their work are changed dramatically.
Wow, that's fantastic. That is so good.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so someone's listening, a woman artist is listening, thinking about applying, or maybe it's the first time they've heard about it. What would you like to say to them?
Apply. Give it a shot. I would say it's not for a brand new artist. You have to have a certain skill set developed. It's not for somebody who is still trying to find their style, because they have to present a corpus, 3 to 5 pieces that represent their work. I would say, give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
If you do figures, it doesn't have to look, as we keep saying, it doesn't look. One thing I would say is have them look at the Bennett Prize website, and they'll see what we mean by it doesn't have to be like a hyper-realistic figure. And somebody said, oh, they have to be nudes. And they don't have to be nudes. And they don't have to be paintings of women. That's our private collection. For the prize, the models can be children or men, or
any
just have
human
to be
figure.
a figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I noticed the male figure in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody asked me the other day what I was going to do. The lottery here in the United States, there was a 50-state lottery, and the prize was $1 billion. And somebody asked me what I was going to do with the money when I won, and I said, sadly, I hadn't bought a ticket. So you can't win if you don't play. So the first message is take a shot at it. The other thing is, you never know where juries will go. And the juries, some might be very enamored with impressionistic work, some like more classical work, some like the very conceptual work Others are very inclined to pick work that I would characterize as unusual. So this is a big tent, and I guess the one thing I would say is be sure-footed when you make a submission. One of the things I think that happens with young contestants that's been very interesting is if they have tried 3 different styles and like them all, they send all 3 along. And that tends to confuse juries a little bit, I think. I think the tendency is to do that, but the juries would prefer to see somebody working in a style that they are continuing to refine, as distinct from having 3 different styles and sending 1 or 2 examples of each of the different styles. Pick a style you like, you're comfortable with, and that you have some facility for.
And current work. Don't send things that you painted in 2010 and 11, because then we don't know that they're still actively painting, right? So current by the last 3, 4, 5 years. It doesn't have to be this year or last year, but something recent, I would.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And a high-res photo. We have eliminated people because of the quality of their photographs, and that's a shame. So if you're going to apply, make sure it's a good quality photograph.
If you don't have a camera of your own, hire a friend and put some real lights on it, and try and make sure that the uprights in your canvases are not skewed by parallax created from wide angle lenses. Get everything square, 90 degrees in all 4 corners and well lit. Good photographs help a lot. I think our experience has been that most people have kind of gotten the hang of it, but every now and then you'll have somebody who you really can't tell whether the work is in the game or not because the photograph is disadvantageous to the work. And so we urge people to really focus on some of those crafty little aspects of it as they go about applying.
Very good. All right. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Thanks very much. It's, as I say, it's a fantastic show, and it's a great achievement, and you're doing a great service for art in general, but then specifically for women artists and women figurative artists.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. And we want to thank you, your audience. You've been involved with this before the first show, really, since the inception of the idea. And you've always overtly been very supportive of the concept and the prize. And we feel that has helped. I think one more thing we should say is at this point, it's just for people residing in the United States because of the cost of shipping the art, which we cover, and the difficulty getting things through customs. You do not have to be an American citizen, but you have to be residing in the United States.
At least part of the time, and the work has to be present in the United States when it is shipped to us. So if you can meet those 2 criteria, even if you're not an American citizen. So reside in the United States at least part of the time and have the work in the United States the time it has to be made available to the prize, then everything is copacetic. So
yeah, sorry, I just thought of that when I was thinking you have an international audience, and that was probably something we should have mentioned.
You did a great job. You get the last word. You get the last word, kid.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Thanks
Have a lovely evening. You're welcome.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
You too.
Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again.
Thank you. So now we're going to transition to the award ceremony.
Now to present the Elaine Melotti Schmidt Prize for Achievement in Figurative Realism, which carries a $10,000 cash prize, is the namesake of the award, Dr. Elaine Melotti.
There are 2 positives associated with this award. 1, you don't have to say anything when you get it. You have to help you. And 2, this is an actual job. So, let's do it. Congratulations.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. The winner of the 2023 Bennett Prize for Women Figurative Realist Painters is Shiking Bennett.
That was a surprise. I guess I have to quit my job as well. I feel like I'm just so lucky when I see upstairs all the paintings you guys doing. They're so interesting, and each painting, like each you do, like so different and very, very interesting, and I love them all. So I feel like I'm very grateful about what the Bennett Prize doing, like they support women artists who doing figurative art. You all know like it's not easy path, and it's like for me sometimes a lot of times I feel like I just want to cut the canvas off, and so many times I feel like so frustrated and a lot of self-doubting moments, like especially around this time, a lot of people around me say, "Oh, what you doing? He's dead." And I was still doing it, we still keep painting. So I just feel like thank you so much for believing me and giving me confidence, a lot of confidence and support to keep doing interesting work, and I'll keep exploring endless possibilities of figurative art. Thank you so much.
So there you have it. A big congratulations to Deng Shiking. Well done, demo. Very happy. And congratulations to Ruth Dealey, to all the finalists, and to everybody who entered. It's to the Bennetts, to the team at Muskegon. Congratulations! It's such a great event. It's such a necessary thing, and it's such a positive thing. And yeah, I feel kind of honored to be part of it in a small way. So congratulations to everyone. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
I've never felt this good in my entire life. Make me some spaghetti.
Actually, I'd prefer a cup of tea. A cup of tea would be lovely. So yeah, just a little reminder, mainly because every second or third person who becomes a patron has got in touch with me and said, you know what, I've been listening to your podcast for ages, and I didn't become a patron, not because I don't have the money, not because I don't think it's great, I just didn't get around to it. So this is a little friendly reminder that if you'd like to be a patron, you'd like to buy me a cup of tea, go to patreon.com/John Dalton, gently does it, all one word, or follow the link in the show notes to become a patron. I would really appreciate it if you could do that, particularly if you've been meaning to and you just haven't got around to it. It would be great. It would mean a lot to me. All right, thank you. Bye.
We are the Argyle Pimps, so buy us a drink. We're better than you thought, but not as good as we think. We are the Argyle Pimps, so buy us a drink. Come on, buy us a drink. Come on, buy us a drink. We are the Argyle Pimps, so buy us a drink. We're better than you thought, but not as good as we think. We are the Argyle